Hello everybody and welcome to March favorites. I can't believe I'm filming this. I know everyone always goes on about like, oh, it's the end of March already. Wow, no, I'm supposed to have already had my baby. So that's where I'm at right now. Can't believe I'm filming this because I was expecting to be quite busy. But that's okay. I still had some really fun things this month and things that I really enjoyed and I wanted to share them with you. So here we go. Starting off with my absolute favorite for this month, hands down. It's brand new. It's the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Plus in Ivory. I'd never tested this out before. It's the number 20 if you're wondering the shade. I'm super pale right now. I tried to show you guys in a little demo how my melasma is coming along here and how this covers it up. It covers it up nice enough that it still looks pretty natural, so I'm really excited. I also don't know why, but in the last like 2 or 3 weeks, my skin has gone down like 2 or 3 shades. So I don't know what that's about, but I needed new foundation. Absolutely needed it. Drugstore foundation in France is freaking expensive. It's like 20 euros a bottle. And you know, and it's never in shades that are light enough for my skin tone anyways. So now that my skin has gone down, there were no drugstore options. And then Sephora had a 25% off sale, so I was stoked. There's a really famous YouTuber called Tiffany D who has been raving about this for at least 5 years, because I typed in to find out what shade she wore it in, and she was doing videos about how much she loved this foundation, how it was her holy grail foundation 5 years ago, and she's still saying it's her holy grail foundation. For me and for my skin type at the moment and my skin tone, this was definitely worth the hype. It's really nice because I don't need to powder afterwards. And my favorite powder is already packed in the hospital bag, so I can't use it anyways. So this is great for that. It stays on quite a long time. I wouldn't say all day. I've heard people say like, oh, 24-hour foundation. Never ever had a foundation last 24 hours on my skin. Even right now when my skin's a bit drier and it's not quite as oily. No, not lasting 24 hours. But that's okay. I don't expect that from a foundation. I don't think it leaves like a velvety or really like true powdery matte finish. On my skin it leaves more of a satin finish, especially if I don't put any powder or anything on the top. It's satin matte. It doesn't look dewy at all, but it does get the job done and I love it. I will probably do a full review on that one eventually after I've been trying it out for a couple of months and I have a favorite way to apply it. Because right now I'm like trying a brush, trying my fingers, and currently fingers is the favorite method for applying it, but then it doesn't get quite as much coverage as I do when I use the brush. I finally gave into the hype and got the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. The only thing that I was surprised about with this is that it comes off quite powdery. Like when I put my brush on it, I have to knock off quite a bit of powder before putting it on my face, which is fine. It's just because it's like a buttery, powdery texture. But it doesn't have any fallout on the face or anything like that, so that's perfectly fine. The color is lovely. I've heard a lot of people say this would work on every skin tone, and I'm not completely convinced. I can think of a couple people that I know personally in my head who this wouldn't be great on them, but it is an almost universal shade. I feel like it would be great on a lot of different girls, and if you're new to makeup and you want to try something in the drugstore, this is a great one. If you keep in mind that it's highly pigmented, so you don't want to take your brush and like swirl it around and then wipe it on your face, or you will end up like a clown. What you want to do is just like tap it on the back of your wrist to get off the excess, and then try and blend it in, and you can build it up if you want. But be very, very careful with the pigment on this one. Oh, if you're in France and wondering where you can find this, you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it on Amazon UK. I got it off of Amazon UK because even with like the shipping and the exchange rate, it still ended up being way cheaper on Amazon UK. To apply blush, I finally have a favorite blush brush. This is the blush brush, obviously, by So Eco. It's just dense enough, but also like fluffy enough that you can dust off any extra powder really easily if it gets too much on it. And it applies very smoothly. It's kind of a foolproof applicator, which is what I really wanted for a blush brush. And I just love it. So it's cheap as well. I got this off Amazon. For eyebrows, if you follow me on my blog or on Twitter or on YouTube and you've been following for a while, you've probably heard about this before because I talk about it a lot. But I just got it in a new color. It's the Gimme Brow by Benefit. I got it in the light to medium this time. I don't know if you've noticed, I got a bit of a hair change. I'm not super thrilled with it. It's not exactly what I wanted. but my hair's a bit lighter, and so I wanted to go a bit lighter on the brows, and Sephora was having their 25% off sale, so I went for this. As you can see, lovely little brush, which makes it really perfect for getting in there. And it's not just a brow gel. It doesn't just like lightly color your eyebrows and stick them into place. It actually has fibers in it that kind of fill in your brows. If anybody knows of a drugstore dupe that does the same thing, that actually fills in your brows while it's also holding them into place and coloring them nicely and not giving them an awkward red tone, please, please tell me about it in the comments down below. I've already tried Maybelline's Brow Drama, and it looks way too red on my face, the shade that I got, and I think I got medium brown. It's not pretty. It also is just a regular brow gel. It doesn't fill in the gaps with little fibers. Moving on to lips, I gave into the hype and bought the YSL Tint and Oil. I believe in the color I Rose You. I'll put it down in the info bar below. Look how pretty the packaging is. Oh. Okay, this is going to be a love it or hate it product, so I absolutely recommend getting into a store to try it out before you invest, because it's kind of expensive for a lip gloss type product. It's not like a gloss, and it's not really a tint, and it's not a lipstick by any means, but it goes on, and look at this. It kind of, the product itself looks clear until you start applying it, and then it leaves a super lovely tint after about 2 to 3 seconds on your lips. It smells very fruity, reminds me a lot of Jolly Ranchers, kind of is making me crave Jolly Ranchers. The more you apply it throughout the day, like the deeper that tint builds up, and that's what I really love about it. And it feels so nice. It is an oily texture, but it's not like putting oil on your lips, and there's no like bleeding of the oil or anything awkward like that. It stays in place, stays on your lips, and then the tint lasts for like 4 or 5 hours afterwards, after the moisturizing part wears down. And so this is perfect if you're like me and maybe you're starting with slightly winter damaged lips. I mean, you can only exfoliate your lips up until a point. This covers that really well, so if you have dry lips, this is perfectly fine. It's a good product to use and adds a bit of color. It does feel a bit oily, and so if you hate oils, like touching your face in any way, I know some people that really bugs them, then you don't want to get this tint and oil. Definitely not. For skin, I've been completely in love with the Nuxe Huile Prodigieuse. This is not that expensive in France. It's pretty expensive, I know, in America right now, but I do think they are starting to come over, and you can find some good deals on it anyways. This is just a 50 milliliter size, it's not the big one. And I really, really wish I'd invested in this at the beginning of my pregnancy rather than any of the other like oils or creams that I tried for stretch marks, because quite frankly, those didn't do anything for my skin that a regular cream wouldn't do. They didn't prevent any stretch marks, and I got a couple at the very beginning of this pregnancy. They didn't do anything to diminish them, and they kind of smelled funny, and during the first 3 months, during the first trimester, made me really want to just vomit. So I don't recommend buying a product for your stretch marks during your pregnancy that you haven't smelled first. This one smells slightly sunscreeny. It's made out of 97.8% natural ingredients. It's just some natural oils. I love using this in my hair on the ends, a little bit up here where I get those little peach fuzzy hairs, you know, just kind of to tame them down a bit. I love applying it anywhere that I would apply lotion regularly, and it absorbs much slower than a cream, but much faster than the bio oil if you've tried that. I love this, pregnant or not. I also know this is my mom's favorite French product. She wants me to send her some. Lovely, lovely stuff. That's all for this month. I've been loving a lot of the same things that I've talked about in past favorites videos too, so nothing new there. I just didn't want to repeat myself too much. But these have been my absolute favorite top 6 that I've just been really, really particularly enjoying this month, and that have really helped me feel pampered towards the end of this pregnancy. I really hope you're having a great week, and I hope you subscribe. And I also really hope by the time you see this video that baby has decided to make an appearance, but that's out of my control, so we'll see. All right, I'll chat with you girls later. Ciao.